What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Love for the Game live seminar, man. I am Coach Mel, your mental performance coach. I help high-level families with elite athletes build unshakable confidence, discipline, and focus so that their children can perform at their highest level, both mentally and emotionally. This Love for the Game seminar, man, I'm so glad that you decided to join. I'm sorry you decided to tap in because we're going to discuss some stuff that's going to help you evaluate whether or not you really love the game. And like I said, coaching the culture, I started coaching the culture to blend athletic excellence with discipline, character, and work ethic. So my 25 years of experience as a basketball coach and my 15 years of experience as a behavior coach in the public school system, I blended all those experiences to create this platform. And I want to help people like you to reach their highest potential in whatever aspect of life you decide to go into. But right now we're going to talk about the love for the game. So this is specifically for all my athletes. We're going to get started. We're going to get right into it. Thank you for coming. You will hear in the background my beautiful wife who's helping me out today. So when you guys are messaging in the chat and things like that, she'll be able to help me and tell me who's saying what, and then we'll be able to interact that way. But I want you guys to be involved. I want it to be interactive. Please know that at the end of this seminar, I will be awarding the person who is the most engaged. I will be awarding them with a free consultation at the end. Like I said, we're going to get right into it. We're going to get started about the love for the game. Do you love the game? I'm going to give you a personal story starting out. I thought I loved the game. When I was in high school, I played basketball and I played soccer, but I played soccer to get in shape for basketball. And I thought I really loved the game. And I was what you call a hooper and not an athlete. An athlete does some of the things that we're going to talk about as far as taking care of your body and things like that. I was a chubby kid coming up, but I could hoop. I could score. I could, handle the rock. I could do all that stuff. But I really thought that I loved the game. And this is when I really found out that I didn't love the game as much as I thought I did. When it was time for me to get in shape over the summer, in my neighborhood, there was a couple of hills or whatever to run. And my dad said, if you love the game, man, you'll get out, run a mile every day, so that I can get in shape, so that I can be better. Like I said, I was a hooper. I could hoop, but if I was in shape, I'd be killing 90% of the guys out there. So one summer, I got out there to run. It was about 90-something degrees, and I did it probably about 3 days. That fourth day is when I realized I don't really love this game like that. And so I did not do what it took to be in condition. When I went to college, I went to Winston-Salem State University, the illustrious Winston-Salem State University, and I got up there, I seen all the pretty ladies on campus, and then I realized that, I'm just gonna be a student. And so I want to use my experience to help other people. Now, even though I didn't play ball in college, I believe God gave me the love for the game to end up coaching the game. So I sit before you today with 25 years of experience as a basketball coach. I just recently came off 2 state championships back to back. And it was the love that I had for the game that kind of gave me the real love for coaching. Now, when it comes to coaching, I've coached for free. I've made several sacrifices, so I can really sit here and tell you that I love coaching the game. I might didn't love it as a player as I should have, but I love it as a coach. So now I'm using my experience and my platform to help other people, man. So if you are currently in high school and you're still playing a sport, you still have time. Even if you don't love it at the level that you need to now, you still have time to increase that love, and I'm going to help you do that today. So we're going to get right into it. So before we start, go ahead and put in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love the game? And at the end, I'm going to ask you that question again to see after the seminar if that number changes. But right now, just let me know. Scale of 1 to 10, how much do you really love the game? 1 being the least, 10 being I love it as much as I can ever love it. So 1 to 10, let me know. And while we're doing that, let's go right into it. Everybody says that they love the game until it demands something. Like I said, when it demanded me going out in that 90-degree weather and running a mile, that's when I realized I didn't love it as much as I thought I did. So everybody says they love the game until it demands something that you're not willing to do. What is it that you're willing to do to prove your love? What is it that you won't do, right? So those things will help you to know whether or not you love the game. Another thing I want you to put in the chat right now. What is it that you love about the game? Whatever the sport it is that you playing, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, what do you love about the game? What is the number one thing that you would say that you love about the game? Some people will say playing. Some people will say scoring. Some people will say, hitting people. If you in football, some people just like to hit. They like to get active out there. Some people like the clout and the attention that it brings, right? Some people just like to post on Instagram so they can look good. Some people like, the fact that you got people cheering for you in the crowd and stuff like that. Some people like the notoriety that it brings, right? You walk into the school and they know you just, had a really good game the night before. You walk to the school and everybody like, hey, good game, all that. Some people like that type of stuff, right? But I want to know, do you love workouts? Do you love the practices when it's hard? When your body is tired, you don't feel like going? Do you love that part of the game? Do you love conditioning? Do you love schoolwork? Do you love going to school? Do you love being in class? Do you love learning, right? Do you love weightlifting? These are some of the things that really challenge you, and when it gets hard, we decide not to do it. And then some of us are so gifted in the sport, we don't think it's necessary. We don't think it's necessary to lift weights. We don't think it's necessary to eat right because we're already performing well, or we're already, one of the top players on our team. So we think that we don't have to do this extra stuff. And the worst thing that you can do as an athlete is compare yourself to the people around you. If you're not comparing yourself on a global scale, because you got to understand, in your sport, there's millions of people playing. So just because you're the best player on your team, even if you're the best player in your city or state, you have to compare yourself to the best in the entire world, because at the end of the day, to be a pro, to be elite, to be the cream of the crop, you're going to have to be in that top 5%. And that means doing things that most people are not willing to do, right? So love for the game isn't just highlights. It's about the habits, right? Passion opens the door, but discipline will keep it open. How do you exercise discipline in your sport? What is it that you're willing to sacrifice? What is it that you're willing to do even when you don't feel like it? The great Mike Tyson has a quote about discipline that says, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. I'm going to say that again. He said, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. If you can manage to do the things that you hate doing, but do it like you love it. Like for me, I don't like getting up early, right? But if you can manage to get up early with excitement, with the intention of capturing the day and winning the day, you're going to go far. So once again, discipline, doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. Now, once again, if you're not there right now, that's okay. But just know that that's the level that we want to get to. And we all know Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was a beast. So take it from a beast, man. What love for the game really means? Love for the game is not just fun. It's not just praise. It's not just wins. It's your commitment. It's your commitment when you're tired. It's your commitment when nobody's watching. And it's your commitment when you're not the star. A lot of times, whenever things are going right, it's easy for us to be committed. You just start playing on a team, you get all the shots, you get all the playing time. It's easy. But what happens when you're on that bench? What happens when somebody else comes and take your spot? What happens when somebody else on your team is shining and you're not shining? Are you that teammate that's encouraging, that's still keeping that same attitude? Or do your attitude shift depending on the situation, depending on the outcome, depending on, and you can't be result driven. You got to be purpose and process driven, right? Results come later. When you stick with the process gets you to the results. But if you focus more on the results, you won't focus on the process, and the process is what makes you great. So whatever you love, you will protect. All right? If you love it, you'll protect it. Now, let's talk about NILs. NILs, name, image, and likeness. You guys are living in a generation, in a time today where, man, the game has completely changed. When I was coming up, there were no NILs. There was no kids getting paid in high school to play any sport, right? Now you guys have opportunity to make some money in high school. And if you get to college and you get an NIL, you really consider, if you get to a Division I college, you're considered a professional athlete now, which I think is a great thing. Of course, they need to work out some kinks with all this stuff, and you know that you got NBA players going back to college and stuff like that. Like, they need to work out some kinks with that. But I do like the fact that if you grind throughout your high school career, your middle high school career, and by the time you get to high school, you get a Division I scholarship. I like the fact that if you put that work in, now you're considered a pro and you're getting paid millions of dollars. Some kids are getting, you know, a couple $100,000. Some kids are getting millions to play Division I sports. I love it because it's the result of the work that you put in. Now I'm challenging you guys as athletes that you have this golden opportunity. The bag is right there. The bag is right there. You're going to go get it or not. You can't be lazy. You can't be cocky and arrogant. You can't be thinking that you got it all. No, the bag is there. What are you going to do? What are you going to sacrifice to go get it? NILs, name, image, and likeness. People are getting paid for their name, image, and likeness. But let's dive into what that really means, because I think that most athletes nowadays think that NIL is going to come just because I'm dropping 30 points, just because I'm scoring 4 touchdowns a game, because I got 2,000 yards, or because I done hit 5 home runs in one game. Like, it's not about your stats. Does it help? Absolutely. If you are one of the top players in your city, in your state, yes, that absolutely helps you to attract NILs. But let's talk about what it's going to take to keep those NILs and to flourish, right? So your NIL is not just your name, it's the image and the likeness. So when we talk about the name, your name is your reputation. What do people say about you? When your name is spoken in different rooms, what are they saying about you? What do your teachers say about you? What do your coach say about you? What are your parents saying about you? What are your friends saying about you? Do they say, oh, he's a selfish person, or he's lazy, or he's a liar, or she's a liar? Like, what are they saying about you? Your name, a lot of times, most kids in this, your name is all you got. I tell people that all the time. My name is all I got, so I stand on everything that I say. I stand on everything that I do. Some of us don't have anything to stand on. So we need to make sure that we're protecting our name with everything that we do. It ain't just the name on, if you want a name on the back of a jersey one day that's going to be on TV, then you have to protect your name right now. All right. When we talk about image is the behavior. Image is your behavior. What behavior are you displaying? And when we talk about image, a lot of times, let's talk about social media. Some of my athletes, I look at some of your Instagram pages and I can't tell whether you an athlete or a gangster. I can't tell whether you an athlete or a lover boy. If I scroll up and down your page, or I can't tell whether you're an athlete or a TikToker. If I scroll down your page, all I see is a bunch of dancing or pictures with a bunch of, you and your girl on every post, or you hanging with the homies and y'all looking like y'all just fresh off a pack and y'all done smoked something and all that. And some of y'all even have the audacity to have weapons and guns and stuff on your Instagram. That is your image. That is your image. I don't care if you're an All-American. If your image is that, then it's going to tarnish your name. Give you an example. So when somebody say your name, what is the first thing they think about? If I say Michael Jordan, right, the first thing everybody going to think about is, Chicago Bulls, 6 championships. You're going to think about his shoes. You're going to think about his brand. You're going to think about everything that Michael Jordan has, put together. If I say Steph Curry, you're going to think one of the greatest shooters of all time. You're going to think clean. You're going to think, pretty stand-up guy. Now, if I say Ja Morant right now, as good as Ja Morant is and as good as he has been, all that has been tarnished because of his recent activities. So now, if you say Ja Morant, the first thing you're going to think about is, he, getting in trouble, he can't get traded right now because his image has been tarnished and no team wants him right now because, the antics and all that comes with him ain't worth it. And we talking about somebody who NBA All-Star, who MVP candidate, and now he has 2 years left on his contract, and in 2 years he might be out of the league if he doesn't change his image, if he doesn't change the ideology that's out there about him. If he don't change that within the next 2 years, he could be out of the league. And we talking about one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. 6'1", 6'2", with incredible athleticism. But once again, skills does not matter if you're not going to have the character to back it up. Likeness, right? Are you a likable person? People are paying money for name, image, and likeness. Not one or the other. You have to have all three. Just because you have a name, like if your dad or your family member is a pro and your last name Curry or your last name Jordan, that means absolutely nothing if you don't have the image that goes along with that name and if you're not likable. So likeness. Who likes you? Who don't like you? Are you a likable person? Now, when college coaches recruit, like I said, in my 25 years of experience, I've talked to so many college coaches, and they do a full investigation when they recruit you. They're not just talking to the coaches. They're not going to just talk to your parents. They're going to come to the school. They're going to talk to the cafeteria worker. They're going to talk to the janitor. They're going to talk to the principal. They're going to talk to your teachers, right? They want to know who you are because coaches' jobs are on the line. And they don't have time to, or they don't have the luxury to just pick any person that's going to end up jeopardizing them and maybe end up costing them their job. So they're going to do a full investigation on who you are as a person. And so how you operate, how you do in school, how you interact with other people, all that stuff is important. I forget which player it was. I was watching a documentary on TV, and they were talking about one particular player. I forgot who it was. But they said the most impressive thing was when they went to the school and one of the janitors ended up telling the coach that was recruiting, he said, out of all the kids in this school, that kid that you're coming to look at, he's the only kid that comes and speak to me every single day and show me respect every single day. And stuff like that goes a long way. It goes a long way. It's not just good enough to be good in the game. You got to be good on the court, off the court, on the field, off the field. And so name, image, and likeness is there for you, right? So you got to have discipline on social media, right? Quit posting this crazy stuff. Quit posting stuff that's not related to what it is you want to do, right? Now, I know y'all be having spam pages and all that. Look, they can find all that. They can find all that. But you need to make sure that you have some discipline on social media. Be mindful of the music and stuff that you're putting on there and the image that it may create, right? Be mindful of the pictures and stuff that you're putting on there because, it will show your image, it will show your character, right? Be mindful of the interaction on there, or who you talking to, like social media or what they call it, cyberbullying or whatever, like going back and forth with people on Instagram. Have some discipline. Social media discipline is important, right? Coaches and brands watch everything that you do on Instagram. Coaches and brands watch everything you do on Instagram. Like I said, back in the day when I was playing, this wasn't a thing. They would come to see you. But now they don't even have to come physically to recruit you. They could just go online and recruit you first. And if you don't pass the online test, then they're not coming to see you. So make sure that you clean up your social medias. All right? How you act when you lose. Right? They come see you like having a good attitude. The one thing on the Steph Curry documentary, one thing that the coach from Davidson said that he liked was that he saw Steph Curry, when he saw him play, he said his demeanor never changed. No matter if he turned the ball over, no matter if he missed the shot, no matter what happened, his attitude stayed the same. He stayed consistent. And that showed up his first year at Davidson. When he went to Davidson, the first game he played, I think he shot it was something terrible, like 1 for 13 or something like that. And every shot he took and he missed, he never put his head down. He never did, he just kept playing. And that was why they recruited him. And then lo and behold, 2 games later, he ended up having a really good game. And then, the story goes on from there. Now it's the Steph Curry that we know. But he had to go through that process. But his character helped get him through those difficult times. His character helped get him through the adversity of missing shots, of not performing well. Some of us, when we don't perform well, we crash and crash out. You can't be a crash out. You can't go sit on the end of the bench and pout. All right, that's not going to help you get any scholarships. It's not going to help you get any NILs. Right? How do you treat your teammates when they mess up? Are you pointing the finger? Are you yelling at them? Are you screaming at them? Or are you encouraging them? Hey, it's okay, man. Come on, let's go. That type of stuff is infectious, right? Because I tell players all the time, you think you're that good. If you're that good, make everybody else better, right? And you can't make everybody else better if you're constantly talking down on your teammates, if you're constantly yelling at them, because at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. And whenever you make a mistake, the same energy that you gave out is going to return back to you. So we want good energy back and forth. So make sure that you're treating your teammates with the utmost respect that they deserve. All right? Now, reality check. No brand pays for excuses. Don't care about your excuses. No brand is going to pay for your excuses. No scholarship will save bad character. Now, there are some people that's highly talented that will get a scholarship, but that character is going to sustain the scholarship. Back in my day, scholarships was guaranteed for 4 years. Now, that is not the case. Your scholarship is year to year. So if you get a scholarship, you might get an opportunity, but your discipline and your character is going to keep that opportunity on the table. If you get the opportunity and you don't have that discipline character, it ain't going to work. And while I'm on transfer portal, a lot of kids transfer because they don't like the situation that they're in right now. Sometimes you cause the situation that you're in. Instead of looking for a perfect situation, make the situation perfect for you. Now, granted, there are some cases where you do need to transfer. If you're being treated unfairly, if somebody that's clearly not as good as you is playing in front of you and the coach is just showing favoritism, it might be the coach's son or something like that, understandable. There are some cases where transferring is necessary. But in most cases, it's not the person that needs to transfer. It is the perspective that needs to transfer, and it is the attitude that needs to change. Because when you transfer, you're taking you with you. You can't leave you behind. So if you're the same person that be pouting, if you're the same person that's always catching the attitude, if you're the same person that's been a bad teammate, you're just going to transfer that to whatever team you go to. So work on yourself so that yourself can work for you later. All right? Your character is your real currency. You want the bag? Work on your character. Your character equals currency. All right? Now, let's talk about academics. For whatever reason, some of us think that we can have good sport accolades and not do what we need to do in the classroom. It 100% relates. Now, in my coaching experience, I've seen how when kids play, they play a lot like they are in the classroom. However you do in the class, if you're lazy in the classroom, you're gonna be lazy on the court, right? If you're not willing to buckle down and learn in the classroom, you're not gonna be ready to buckle down and learn in your sport, because you don't know everything. We don't know everything. You have to be willing to learn. You have to have that mentality of no ceiling, of always trying to get higher, always trying to learn more, always trying to be a student, right? So we never arrive. We always on the journey of arrival. So shift your mindset when it comes to school. I wasn't the best. I wasn't crazy about school myself. However, I took care of my business. I averaged a 3.0 in high school and college. Schoolwork wasn't hard for me, but at the same time, it wasn't something that I absolutely loved. But if you love the game, you gotta love what comes with it, and you cannot you cannot excel in sports without academics, right? You're only going to get so far. So sports can open doors, but your grades will keep them open, right? So most athletes don't go pro. That's another reason why you want to make sure that you are honing in on your skills in the classroom, because if for whatever reason you get injured and you tear your ACL or you have a career-ending injury, then what do you have to fall back on? So don't just be like, no, I don't like school, man. No, like whether you like it or not, take advantage of it, because you want to have something to fall back on. Man, Jaylen Brown is one of my greatest examples, man. When I find out, like, you know, his accolades and what all he's done in school, like that guy, and he's talented, like that guy's a beast. Look Jaylen Brown up, see what he did in college, see what his degrees that he has and all the stuff that he do off the court. I know we see his work on the court, but see what he do off the court, and you will be thoroughly impressed, right?
Say hi to Trayvon Spencer.
Trayvon, my dog. What's up, babe?
The real J Boogie, say hi.
J Bell, what up, babe? Every athlete will need to learn life skills. You're going to have life skills. Discipline in the classroom equals discipline on the court or on the field. You can't say you love the game and you be skipping class. All right? So make sure that academics is just as important as athletics. You can't get one without the other. Smart athletes last longer. Say that again. Smart athletes last longer. And then I'm going to give you another tidbit. Do you know that college coaches recruit kids with high GPAs just so that the overall team GPA can balance out? So when you look at college ball and you see some of them cats at the end of the bench that never get in the game, them jokers got a 4.0. They got a 4.0. And y'all might be like, well, but they ain't playing. But guess what? Just them being on a team, on a Division I team, having that on their resume is going to help them later on in life. A lot of those kids that don't play and to be sitting on the end of the bench end up becoming head Division I coaches someday. They end up, working in some type of corporate America field because they have that on their resume. So, like I said, the ball stops bouncing for everybody at some point. It'll stop bouncing for everybody. And if you don't have anything to fall back on, you'll just be, respectfully, a dumb athlete. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we are building athletes that's going to be ready to not just excel in their sport, but to excel in life, right? So don't take academics lightly. Please take it serious. And I understand that there's some of us that just, academics ain't our thing. Well, guess what? This is life. And so it ain't about making straight A's or making B's. It's about just putting your best foot forward. And you know what that is. You know if you spent the time that you needed in the classroom or that you spent the time studying, or you know that if you just didn't even put your 100% effort in. I encourage you to put 200% effort in, especially if it's something that you lack in. Now, what most people do in just human nature is that we love to tend to the things that we do well. And we like to shy away from things that we don't do well. Even when it comes to working out, kids are going to the gym. If I got somebody that's a really good three-point shooter, you want to go in the gym and work on three-pointers. Why? Work on something that you're weak at. But we shy away from that. So same thing with the classroom. If that's not something that you're strong at, you have to put more attention to that. You have to put more work into that in order to get better. Don't shy away from challenges. I'm telling you, it's going to help you in life, because life is going to throw some monkey wrenches at you. It's going to throw some challenges, some obstacles at you. And if you shy away from it, you will never accomplish the goals that you set out to accomplish. All right. So now let's talk about taking care of your body. Once again, do you love the game enough to take care of your body? Do you love the game enough to stop eating McDonald's? Nah, you know what I'm saying? McDonald's is old. Let me put that to the side. It's the seeds. Y'all caught up on the seeds. It's the Cookout, it's Chick-fil-A and Chipotle. Cookout, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, and Bojangles. I'll put Bojangles in there. Do you love the game enough to say, I gotta stop eating fast food? I gotta start eating right. I gotta put things in my body that's gonna help me perform at my highest potential. And once again, like I said, I want to help elite athletes. So there's some people that might be on here right now that's killing it right now, that might be averaging 20-something points a game. What you think you would do if you ate right? If you took care of your body, how much better do you think you perform? Or maybe you can perform with the same type of stats, but less effort. Some of us have to work extra hard because our body's not in condition, right? And our bodies, or we're not feeding stuff, so we steadily cramping, or we steadily having injuries because we're not doing what it takes to take care of our body. Now, you may have to do your own research to know what type of things you can do to help. But rest, recovery. Now, we live in a generation where working out and personal training is just going crazy right now. And there's nothing wrong with getting in the gym. There's nothing wrong with working out and doing all the extra stuff. But I always say this: if you're not 100% when you play a game, then what's the point? Because you worked out last night, you got a game tomorrow, so now you're tired or your body is aching, and so you're not 100% when you play the game. Rest, recovery, eating the right things, all these things are important. I remember one time I was working at elementary school, and the kid, it was a couple years ago, I forget his name, but he was the #1 player in football in the nation. He went to Hardin High School. He was the #1 player in the nation for football. And he came to my elementary school to talk to a bunch of 3rd grade boys. And I remember he told them 3rd grade boys, he said, I can't tell you the last time I ate a piece of candy. And I'm sitting here like, yo, and the buddy, I mean, he was rocked up. I'm like, he said, I can't tell you the last time I ate a piece of candy. He said, I care about what I put in my body. He said, because my body got to work for me. So in high school, and I said, no wonder you're the #1 player in the nation, not just the state, not just the city. He was the #1 player in the nation. And he said, I can't tell you the last time I ate a piece of candy. That's discipline. And so if you want your body to perform the way you want to perform, you're going to have to treat it right. Right? You don't put if you drive a car and it requires premium unleaded gas, you don't put water in it. You don't put anything that's going to make the engine choke up and die, right? You got to put things in that's going to make that engine run with fluidity. And so, same thing with your body. Make sure you're eating right? Make sure you're especially if you're doing a lot of working out, you got to put the stuff back in, the right stuff. Not just when you go and you leave practice or you leave the gym and you go into McDonald's and cook out and Chick-fil-A, all that, you're killing your workout. And it takes more work to work those things off, to work that food off. So make sure that you are educating yourself on the nutritional things that you should do to make sure that your body is in the shape that it needs to be to perform the way you want it to perform. All right. That make sure you get proper rest, man. Some of us, y'all, listen. When you are a student athlete, Monday is Monday. By the time you hit Friday, you done hit a wall, you burnt out because you done had to go to practice every day, you done had to work out every day, and if you didn't get much sleep, if you only got 4 or 5 hours of sleep on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, by Thursday and Friday, you're going to crash out. You got to make sure that you're getting proper rest, all right? Proper rest, proper nutrition, proper hydration, and proper recovery. That is important, all right? Now, if your body breaks down, a lot of times so does the dream. That's if you did not take advantage of your academics. But if your body breaks down, sometimes the dream of excelling in a particular sport goes with it. So we don't want your body to break down. We want you to make sure that you are in tip-top shape for life, okay? Now, last but not least, we're going to talk about, before last. We're going to talk about necessary sacrifices. Man, once again, when we talk about love for the game is not always what you do. A lot of times it's what you're willing to sacrifice. All right? The Bible says in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave. He loved, so he gave. What is it that you're willing to give? What is it that you're willing to give? He loved us so much that he sacrificed himself and died on the cross. What is it that you're willing to die to? Can you die to social media? Can you die to bad eating habits? Right? Can you die to not doing your homework? Can you die to skipping class? Right? What is it that you're willing to die so that you can live? Oof. Right? What sacrifice are you willing to make? Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son because he had that much love for God. How much do you love the game? What is it that you're willing to sacrifice? Sometimes you got to sacrifice friends. You can't have everything. You can't be willing to you can't be wanting to be everywhere at all times. You want to be on the scene. I'm trying to go to this party or that party. I'm trying to go out here. Not when you're dedicated to your craft. Not when you're dedicated to your craft. I want to put this plug in real quick. You should go on my YouTube page, Coaching the Culture podcast. There is a episode on there where it talk about the culture of becoming a pro. And one of my guys, Mr. Chris Martin, who played in the NBA G League for a little bit, he talked about when he was in college, how him and a couple other teammates, was going out to the club or whatever, and they come back and they going to the gym and they going to the locker room because in the locker room they got a bunch of drinks and snacks in the locker room. And so he says they was coming in, it's 2:00 in the morning. They go into the locker room to get their snacks, and he see one of his teammates in there working out at 2:00 in the morning. He like, bro, what you doing? Like, man, I'm working out. I'm like, man, we just came from the club. And lo and behold, the kid that was in there working out made it to the NBA. What sacrifices are you willing to make? The things that you're worried about now will be there later on. If you chasing girls, if you get to the bag, they're gonna chase you. If you chasing money and not the sport, when you get to that level, that money will chase you. If you like going out and you like being on the scene and all that stuff is going to prohibit you from achieving your goals, right? So what sacrifices are you willing to make? What is it that you're willing to say later on so that you can achieve what it is you want to do right now? It got to be parties over practice. That ain't going to work, right? Comfort versus consistency. Sacrifices change as the level increases, but temporary sacrifices equals long-term opportunities. If you sacrifice it now, you'll have all the opportunities later, but you have to sacrifice it and dedicate your time to the things that you say you want to do so that you can have the life that you want to live. All right? Everybody wants the results, but few are willing to pay the price. Everybody want to be Division I, but few are willing to make that sacrifice. Everybody want to go pro, but few are willing to make that sacrifice. All right? Sacrifice is proof of love. Like I said, Jesus sacrificed his son for us. What it is that you're willing to sacrifice to show your love. All right? Now, one team, one mindset. In order to show love for the game, you cannot be a selfish person. You have to be a selfless person. Because at the end of the day, the more people that can attest to your character is going to propel you into the type of to the level that you want to go to, right? Like if you want to be Division I, like and the college coach come to your school to recruit you, he needs to have multiple people coming and saying how much of a good person you are, or how much of a good teammate you are, and this, that, and the third. So if one or two people say, but if you got everybody that ain't counted, that person right there, that's when you know. So, are you a good teammate? Right? Do you hold your teammates accountable? And do they listen to you? If your teammates listen to you, then that's when you know you're a good teammate. That's when you know that you are not only just barking orders, but you're also leading by example. Because nobody wants to listen to somebody that's not doing what you tell them to do. They're like, man, get out my face. Bro, you ain't even sprinting. You ain't even touching the line. Don't tell me to touch the line and you ain't touching the line. So, are you leading by example, and are you holding others accountable? Do your actions make other people want to get better? That's a good one. Do what you do in practice, or what you do, how you show up every day, does that make people want to go harder, or does it make people get lazy? Because if I see you over there doing nothing and you getting all playing time, what I'm working for? What I'm working for, right? And good attitude and good character and being a good teammate is contagious, and it affects the entire team. Same way being a bad teammate does. It affects the entire team. So, and college coaches are not looking for star players. They're looking for good teammates. I never forget when I was I took my team down to team camp at University of South Carolina, and Frank Martin, head coach Frank Martin, he's a beast. He brought us in the locker room after the game. He talked to everybody. He said, hey, listen, if any of you guys are the number one player in your state, if you got, state champion, if you got all these accolades, he said, that's all good. He said, don't get me wrong. He said, that's probably one of the reasons why we will be recruiting you. He said, but once you step onto this campus, once you come into this locker room, you step on this campus and you're on this team, none of that matters. He said, because I got juniors and seniors and sophomores, and all they want to know is, are you going to help us win? Are you going to come in and buy into the culture? Are you going to buy into the system? Are you going to come in and try to do your own thing? Because if you try to do your own thing, you're going to be on your own. But if you want to be in this team thing, then you got to embrace teammates. You got to embrace camaraderie. You got to embrace being on on one accord with other people. And you got to embrace not being that man, because once you get to college, everybody was the best player on their team. So everybody on that team has to come to a realization of, I got to be less so that we can be more. All right? So are you holding teammates accountable? Are you being coachable? Or are you just coachable when everything is going right? Are you being coachable during those difficult times? When coach is getting on your case, when he's constantly correcting you? Are you getting upset? Are you getting frustrated? Are you getting mad? Or are you getting better? I tell kids all the time, you can't get frustrated and get better at the same time. It don't work like that. And you got to be the type that loves correction, because you got to know what the purpose is. Sometimes I've coached players and I'm hard on them and they think, oh, he don't like me. Nah, I'm hard on you because I think you got the potential. And if I don't be hard on you, you'll never reach those potential. So don't look at it as shade or as being mean or as any of that. Look at it as preparation. It's preparation for the position that you want. So tell yourself, I'm prepping for my position. All right? Doing your role well. First of all, you got to accept your role. And a lot of times, we don't want to accept our role. We want to come into a situation, man, bro, I can put up 30. I don't need you to. If they don't need you to, can you accept your role? Once again, Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly averaged dang near 40 points in high school in Chicago, one of the toughest places to play. But nobody looks at him as a scorer. Everybody looked at him as a defender. He accepted his role. He took on the role and accepted it and had a long career in the NBA. What is it that you're willing to do? What is it that you're willing to accept? Right? It's not always about you. It has to be for the team. And when you do these things, eventually, the spotlight will be on you. Right? If you make it to the NBA, if you make it to the NFL, if you make it to wherever it is you're trying to go, then you will get the spotlight. But you have to be a good teammate. And unfortunately, there are pros that still haven't mastered this, right? Once again, I talk about John Moran again. Like, you saw the clip of him in practice going back and forth with that guy. And buddy like, man, well, let's go to the back. We scrap it out. But, that's unnecessary when you're on the team. When you're on the team, it should be one team, one mindset, one goal, right? When I won the first state championship, I was so dogmatic about making sure that we was all on one accord. I was willing to cut off any and everything, and I let that be made known. I told every player, every manager, anybody that was associated with the team, if you do anything that's going to cause any type of disruption, any type of discord on the team, you're gone. I'm getting rid of it, because that can't happen. Championship teams cannot have turmoil, cannot have, you have to be on the same page. You have to be selfless. You have to be working together to a common goal, right? And the sad thing about it is that most athletes will never know what it's like to be a state champion or to be a champion at all. We got a lot of kids that play and play well, but do you win? I'm talking about win big. It's okay to win games. I'm talking about winning championships, winning trophies. There's no better feeling than winning a championship with a group of people that you grinded with the entire time, with a group of people that you grinded with for months in the gym. When we won the state championship, we was in the gym for 11 months. We took 1 month off after the season, and we was in the gym the whole time grinding. And when we won that state championship, it felt so good because of all the work that we put in, all the blood, sweat, and tears that we put in, all the injuries, all the academic probations that we went through to get to that point. So please understand that stars don't win championship, teams do. Teams win championships. All right, so it's about being good teammates so that you can be on a good team, right? Now, last but not least is you have to choose your standard, right? Choose your standard. Reflect on yourself. Do you really love the game? Or do you love the attention? I want to challenge you to build better habits. I want to challenge you to build better character. I want to challenge you to build better discipline. If the things that we talked about today, if any of those areas you lack in, it's okay as long as you're willing to grind in those areas and get better in those areas, right? You can't be better if you're bitter. So don't let those situations deter you because I don't like class, so I'm just not gonna do it. Or I don't want to work out. Or I don't want to take care of my body. I love cookies and cakes. I love ice cream. I love chips and soda. I'm not willing to give that up. Okay, well listen. If that's the reality that you want to come to, just know that you can't be insane and think that you can do the same thing and expect a different result. All right, in order to achieve something that you've never accomplished, sometimes you got to do something you've never done. So make sure that you are building better habits, building better character, and building better discipline, right? If you love the game, you show it every day in every area, all right? Now, once again, like I said, I am Coach Mel. I'm your mental performance coach. I help high-level families with elite athletes build unshakable confidence, discipline, and focus so that their children can perform at their highest level. And one of the ways I do that is through my mental toughness program, right? Some of us think we're mentally tough, but until we face some things that we never face, our mental toughness may be challenged. And I would like to encourage, I would love to work with you. I would love to help build strong athletes through my mental toughness program. And with my mental toughness program, I use a tough model to help people. And it's real simple. My tough model is TOUGH, tough. The T is we identify the task. What is the task? The task could be several things. It could be wanting to get in the starting lineup. It could be wanting a Division I scholarship. It could be wanting to increase my GPA. It could be anything like that. So we identify what the task is, and then we identify the obstacles. What is keeping us from achieving that task? What is in the way? What is it that we need to work out in order to accomplish that task? And then the U is we want to understand why. Why am I in this situation? Why do I want to achieve this task, right? We got to understand what our why is. What motivates us? What is it? Why am I really doing this? Keeping that in the back of our head so that we can always be motivated, right? Or understanding why certain things have happened and being able to see it the next time it comes and being able to avoid it or to be able to overcome it, right? The G, we want to create a game plan. Once we get all that information, we create a game plan, right? And then the H is how to execute. Once we create the game plan, we talk about how to execute it. So if that's something that you're interested in and that you think that would be helpful in your journey, like I said, there's a lot of kids today and parents that invest so much in physical training and workouts and stuff like that. But how many people love the game enough to invest in their mental training? That's what I'm here for. In my 25 years of coaching, I realized that so many athletes lack the mental fortitude that it takes to be successful, not just in the sport, but in life. So my program, my mental toughness program, is designed to help you navigate through life challenges and to be able to excel and overcome certain things, to build resilience, to build discipline and a good, strong work ethic that will not just help you in the sport, but will help you in life. All right. Now, I want you to go on my website as IamCoachMel.com and you can take my free mental toughness assessment. I have a free mental toughness assessment that you can take that'll let you know where you at mentally and how bad you may need this program. Once again, that's on my website at www.IamCoachMel.com. You can go on there, you can take my free mental assessment. If you're interested in this program at all, please DM me, let me know. We'll be in touch and we'll put a plan together that's specifically designed for you to succeed in life. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. Make sure you follow me on all platforms. Make sure that you, I'm on coaching_the_culture on Instagram. I'm on Coaching the Culture on TikTok and also the podcast on YouTube, Coaching the Culture podcast. So lock in, tap in, and let's get it in. All right? Peace out.